For joining me here today. Today's webinar and today's topic is going to be about how you can transform your nervous dog's life using simple medication-free strategies every owner should know. It's a really exciting topic. I really love talking about this because it's something that's really, really close to my heart and really, really important to talk about. Now, you're in the right place if you, first of all, own a dog. Second of all, your dog is nervous or anxious or shows signs of stress. If you don't know any of that yet, that's totally fine. Don't worry. We're going to talk a little bit about what to look for in a nervous dog. If your dog's on medication or you want to wean them off, if this is something you would like to do, and if you're looking for ways to improve your dog's quality of life as well as yours, because we're always looking at the dog's well being and not so much our well being as well. So it's really important that we also improve our own quality of life. Now, the promise for today is that I'm going to share with you simple, easy steps that you can start to implement straight away to help your nervous dog. But I'm also going to explain the reason why, the big why some dogs are nervous. And you're going to realize that there's something that we need to do that's actually really, really important, that's actually not being talked about enough. So you're going to find that out. My goal is to also make sure that you feel confident in your ability to help your nervous dog by the end of this webinar. The ask for today is that you stay committed to this webinar. I'm going to try to make it as short as possible, 45 to 60 minutes maximum. I know everyone's busy and has lives, so we're going to try and go through this as quickly as possible. I want you to take notes. I would love for you to take notes if there's anything that you feel is interesting or something that you actually learned that you didn't know of before. Please write it down on a piece of paper and share it with me at the end. And last but not least, if you have any questions, any burning questions, please write them down as well on a piece of paper and not in the chat just yet, because it might get lost in the chat and I might not be able to see them again. Now, let's get started. Let's dive right in. So the topic for today is nervous dogs, obviously. So how can you tell that your dog's nervous? The first thing to look at is body language. So things like yawning or panting when it's not hot. Um, that's usually a sign that they're actually a little bit nervous and a little bit stressed. Lip licking when there's no food around. Often dogs will start to lick their lips when you're doing training with them because they're anticipating the food and the reward. That's totally normal, but outside of that context, we can say that this is a sign of stress. Shaking, so if they shake off the stress, that's another one. If they're not wet and they're shaking off, then it's usually that they're trying to shake off that stress. Whale eyes, where they're trying to avoid and they actually look away, and you can see the white in their eyes. That's a big indication of stress. The tail tucked in is another very, very obvious one as well that you usually can't miss unless your dog doesn't have a tail. But these are usually the signs of stress. Obviously, these are not bad in general, but if they happen way too often, then you know your dog's actually struggling a little bit and having a hard time more often than not. The other thing to look at are behaviors. So obvious behaviors like your barking, your lunging, just like on the left picture, your flight response. So when your dog is cowering and trying to move away or run away, these are two obvious signs to look for as well. And pacing, when the dog's trying to pace back and forth, up and down, that's usually a sign of stress as well, and a sign that your dog is actually nervous and having a hard time. The third thing to look at is the state of mind. Now, it's not something that's actually really easy to look at because we can't be in their heads and we can't really tell what they're thinking, but usually there's a few signs to look at. The first one is the inability to settle. So if your dog can't settle, constantly scanning the environment, pacing around, you know they're in a state of mind that's actually not relaxed or calm at all. So you know they're having a hard time. The other one is if they're unable to listen to you and take food. That's a very common one. You always see a dog, or a lot of the times your dog might stop taking food all of a sudden in a new environment. And it's not because they're not hungry, it's just because they're a little bit nervous and stressed and you feel like they're a little bit scattered. They can't really listen to you. The last one to look at is a dog that's shut down, and usually that's a dog that's a little bit more into a like depressive state of mind. A dog that's just lying down, being lethargic, doesn't really feel the need or want to do anything. That's usually pretty bad, guys. So I want you to be really aware if this is the state that your dog is at. Now, why are certain dogs nervous? So there are a few reasons why some dogs are nervous. And I'm going to list them here with you. It's important for you to know them because it's important for you to understand where your dog's coming from and why they're actually nervous, so that you know, okay, well, if I've done everything that I can, and my dog is nervous for X reason, then it's not my fault. Like there's nothing that I did wrong. So the first one is genetics. So genetics means that the nervousness has actually been passed on from generation to generation. So potentially your dog comes from a litter where the parents aren't actually really stable dogs, and they pass on this nervousness to the next generation, which is usually not good. And with this case, if you have this case of dog, it's really rare, but it happens. Um, there's, you can do all the training that you can, all the socialization that you can. It's not your fault. There's nothing that you did wrong to make your dog this way. It's just genetics, so it's inherited. Also, something really interesting, and I don't know if you knew about this, but the mom can actually pass on the stress to the pups. So while she's pregnant, if she's experiencing stressful moments or traumatic events, she can actually pass on that stress to the puppies in her tummy as well, which is quite interesting. The second one is the lack of socialization. And guys, this is the most common reason why dogs are nervous, especially since COVID happened. So, to give you a little bit of context, puppies have to go through, or they all go through, what we call the critical socialization period, which usually happens from 6 to 16 weeks of age. This is where they're learning everything about their environment. They're learning what's scary, what's not. And if we don't actually get them out and about during this phase, what happens is after that 16 weeks of age, it's very difficult for us to teach them that things aren't scary. They kind of lose the ability to adapt to new situations after 16 weeks of age. Before that, they are way more malleable. You can teach them anything you want. After that, it becomes way more difficult. So that's why the advice when you get a puppy is get them out and about safely, of course, because they're not fully vaccinated, but safely, so that they can experience life the way they're going to experience life as an adult. Now, the third reason is a single event or traumatic event. So, prime example, a dog that goes to the dog park, or you're just walking your dog, and all of a sudden this dog rushes and attacks your dog. Your dog's most likely going to be really scared of dogs in the future. So, this is one event that happened that made your dog really nervous and really fearful about a certain situation. Now, very often you'll find a dog getting affected by one single event. Usually a dog that is nice and happy, like one single event can happen and then they can recover from it really quickly. It doesn't really affect them that much. But more often than not, nervous dogs have more than one thing that they're nervous about, and it's usually, you might think that it's just one event that actually happened, but it's actually going to bleed through and translate into different aspects of the dog's life as well. There's a few exceptions. For example, my friend's dog Gunner. Gunnar is a happy-go-lucky dog, loves people, loves dogs, happy to go for walks, happy to chill at cafes, no issues there. But then one time, my friend was baking something, and Gunnar was in the kitchen. He was lying down on his bed, and the oven timer went off. And Gunnar got startled because he didn't expect it. It just happened out of nowhere, and it was loud. And he got up, ran out of the house, hid under the house shaking. And now Gunnar is really, really sensitive and scared of that specific sound. So the timer, he's really nervous around the oven in general, and he becomes really nervous when the alarm clock goes off on the phone, for example. So again, not a very common issue or case, but it does happen, guys. So now that I've listed the three types of dog, which one do you think your dog is? Type one for genetics, two for lack of socialization, or three for single event. Type it in the chat. Let me know. I'd be really interested to see what your dog actually struggles with or why they're actually nervous. Again, guys, it's important that you understand that so that you know better how to help your dog. So type one, two, or three in the chat. Is it genetics? Is it lack of socialization? Or is it single event? Cool. All right. So, what I'm going to move on next is my story. And the reason why I like to talk about this is because it's important that you understand that I am not just talking the talk. I've also walked the walk. So just a quick background: I grew up with a little dog, family dog. We knew nothing about his breed. We knew nothing about dog training back then. YouTube wasn't a big thing, but I really wanted to. Oh, Domenica, you just replied. I believe it would be the lack of socialization. I also want to mention that I have two dogs. Okay. All right, cool. We can talk a little bit about both dogs later in case you're having different issues with the both of them. So let's go back to my story for now. So I grew up with this dog and I always wanted to interact with it. I always wanted to do tricks. I always wanted to do fun things with it. I taught it to jump through hoops. I taught it to jump through obstacles. It was actually quite fun. Then I moved to Australia and I felt the void of not having a dog by my side. So I decided I really wanted a dog because I dreamt of going for walks with my dog. I dreamt of, going to the beach, sitting at cafes, and doing all of the normal stuff and social stuff that we usually do with our dogs. And I got myself a puppy, this little border collie puppy. And spoiler alert, those dreams did not come true. Like that was not something that I was able to fulfill with this dog when I got him. So he was this nervous little puppy from a litter, probably an accidental litter somewhere on a farm. So just red flags from the start, right? Genetically, I have no idea how his parents are. So he already came nervous, which was very, very difficult. And I did all the right things. I did the socialization. I did the, anything that I could do to help this dog, but there's nothing that would actually help him. Anything that I would see online was the generic training methods, socialization, desensitization, etc. So I knew that I needed to learn more about dog behavior in order to understand how to help him, because he was really challenging and I couldn't see any other dog like him out and about. So what happened next is I decided to enroll in a dog behavior and dog training course and get certified. And I actually fell in love with it so much that I decided to quit my science career and find a job at a doggy day school to work with plenty of dogs, like thousands of dogs with different breeds, different temperaments, different sizes. And what I found was that all the nervous dogs were actually really, really gravitated towards me. And I was the only trainer there that would be able to help nervous dogs. And that's potentially because my own dog and the challenges that I've been through have actually, made me a more patient person and a more patient trainer. And I was able to actually relate and connect with these nervous dogs, which was really fulfilling, really cool thing to do as well. Now, who am I? My name is Nez, and I am the proud owner of Happy Chappy Dog Training. I have worked with thousands of clients, and I've helped a lot of clients with their nervous dogs because I really wanted to share my knowledge and everything that I figured out works with my dog, and I applied it to a lot of clients. And what I discovered was, first of all, I was able to hone in into one specific philosophy, which is keep it simple yet impactful. Guys, if you don't know why you're doing something, and if it's too complicated for you to do it, you are not going to do it. Over the years, with my experience as well, I found out that there is something in common that nervous dogs have. So, what do you think, in your opinion, most nervous dogs have in common? There's no wrong answers. Just type anything that comes to mind in the chat and let me know. Guys, this is the key answer. Again, whatever you answer, don't worry if it's wrong or not. There's no wrong answers. I just want you to start thinking. All nervous dogs have something in common. Fear, yep, definitely. That's one of it. Yep, fear. Yep, for sure. Yeah. So fear is like it's I like to call it a symptom of being a nervous dog, right? They're fearful of everything. They're jumpy. They get startled really easily. But the main answer, and the thing that I want you to really take from today, is confidence. Most nervous dogs, if not all nervous dogs, lack confidence. And that's not something that we look at. We look at the behaviors, we look at the fear, of course, and we try to find ways to help them through those fears. But the problem is that's not really building the confidence and therefore building long lasting changes and long lasting results for dogs. Now, with resilience comes confidence. With confidence comes resilience as well. So, when we teach a dog to become resilient, to learn how to push through challenges, then you're going to have a dog that's going to be way more confident, way less fearful, way less stressed, and way less nervous. So a dog that's confident doesn't feel the need to bark at things. A dog that's confident doesn't feel the need to let you know that there's a postman arriving. You know, a dog that's confident is just happy to be there, happy to chill with you at cafes, happy to chill with you at the beach. So that's the difference, and that's the biggest difference that I have noticed over the years and over the experience. Most confident, most nervous dogs lack that key element, which is confidence. We're going to get back to that a little bit later through the webinar, but what I really want to share with you as well today were the 5 mistakes that you might be making to make your dog's nervousness worse. So I have seen that a lot, and I've honed it into 5 mistakes, but I have seen that over and over and over again with so many clients, with so many students. So number one is not having proper management in place. So think of your dog stress level like a cup of water that's filling up. Every time there's a stressful event that happens, that cup is actually filling up. And there's only a matter of time before that cup is actually going to overflow. And if we're not providing them with proper management inside the house for them to actually be able to de-stress and empty that cup, then it's going to be very difficult, and you're going to be stuck in this loop where they're constantly reacting, constantly nervous because they're not getting enough time to de-stress. So I want you to remember that. Remember your dog like a cup. The other example that is easy for you to remember is on Monday, thunderstorm happens, your dog is super stressed and hates thunderstorms. Tuesday, you take them for a walk, a long walk, and you meet a lot of dogs on your way, and it's a little bit busy and stressful for your dog. Wednesday, you decided you want to take it easy. You're going to just take your dog around for a walk around the block. And then they just blow up at one dog that they never really cared about before, maybe the neighbor's dog, a dog that they already know. And you're like, that's really out of character. What the hell? Well, what just happened is their cup was full and it filled up even more and overflowed. We call that trigger stacking, guys, which is one stressful event after the other after the other. And if you're not providing them with crate time or time in a nice quiet room where they feel safe and they can sleep uninterruptedly, where we make sure that we giving them a break from stressful things, then that cup is not going to empty. Another thing that I wanted to show you was cortisol levels. So scientifically, when cortisol levels are high, which is the stress level in your body, cortisol is the stress hormone. It's not that it's bad when it's there, but when it's excessively there, that's when it's actually bad. And you start to actually get those stress and nervous signs. So when it's there, it usually takes 48 hours for it to actually get lower into the bloodstream. So it starts off really high, and then it usually needs 48 hours in order to diminish. So that's why it's really important that you are aware of this concept so that you know where your dog's stress level is at, and so you can manage it accordingly. This is a very important one. The next one is reacting during tricky, scary situations. So, how many times have you seen someone, or maybe you've done it yourself, right? Let's say your dog's scared of the garbage truck, and you actually get out and you see a garbage truck, and your dog gets startled and gets spooked and starts barking. And you crouch down and you pat them, and you're like, it's okay, it's all right. And then you just leave. What just happened then is you have potentially made things worse for your dog. Now, I'm not here to debate whether we can reinforce fear or not, but I want you to think about it this way. Let's keep it simple. Your dog is actually going to react the way you react a lot of the times. Because we're here to guide our dogs and they live in our environments, it's important that they look at us for guidance and information. And if we act worried about a situation, then they will act worried about a situation. If we act chill and normal about it, then most likely they might react, but they might recover very quickly, and they might look at you and be like, okay, well, you don't seem too stressed about it, so I guess it's fine. So it's all about you handle these situations. Guys, I don't know if you've seen those videos of the parents pranking babies and like pretending that they're knocking their head on the door, and the parents react and the baby starts crying when really nothing happened. Well, I've got a video that I love showing that example because it's really all right, so you get the idea, guys. How you react, your dog will react as well. So it's very important that we have a strategy in place and a plan in case things happen. So I've got a few steps for you. Number one, do not flee the scene. If you run away, if you flee the scene, then your dog is going to think, okay, well, I was entirely right to freak out. This is actually scary. We left. Number two, find a safe space where your dog's aware that the trigger is there, whatever is scaring them is there, but you're not too close, and they're able to actually feel a little bit better about it. Use movement. Number three, use movement to help them resettle and work out those emotions and know how to deal with these emotions. You're going to start to see the more you move up and down with them, stay there from a safe distance, move up and down with them, and you're going to start to see a shift in their body language. They're going to start to relax a little bit more in the presence of the same thing that scared them to begin with. Stay calm and neutral. That's a very important one. If you're freaking out about it and you're frantic and you're walking up and down quickly, then it's not going to help. Just chill, pretend nothing is there, and keep encouraging your dog to walk with you. Take note of that event that happened and work on it for the next few times. Make a training plan about it, maybe, and get your dog to actually feel better about these kinds of situations. Now, the third mistake that I see a lot of people make is sticking to a routine. How many times have you been told stick to a routine because that's going to help your dog? Predictability, actually is known to reduce stress, but the problem is predictability is not easy to maintain. Life happens, and when you're going to break that routine, the amount of stress that your dog's going to go through is way higher than if you start to change things slightly, slowly. You don't have to change too much at once, but change a few things slowly to help them cope. And this is where, guys, we go back to our confidence and resilience. So the next three mistakes that I'm about to share with you are actually huge. And it's going to make you understand why it's important to change these things and to not make these mistakes, because it directly affects your dog's confidence and resilience. So, sticking to a routine is not helping your dog's resilience. If your dog doesn't cope with change, it's not going to help them. So it's very important that we slowly start to shift things around, one thing at a time. Maybe feed them somewhere where you've never fed them before. If you always feed them in the kitchen, feed them in the living room. If you always feed them at 6 p.m., then change it up a little bit. Try 5:30. If you always get out of the house and go left on the street, this time go right. Change your path, change where you walk them. Variety is really, really helpful, especially for nervous dogs, because it builds their resilience, it builds their ability to adapt to changes. And that's everything we're trying to do here with them, is build their resilience and build their confidence. So sticking to a routine is a no-no. Let me know what one thing you want to change today. So something that you've always done the same and you're like, you know what, I'm going to try and change that today. Let me know what it is. It could be where you feed them, where you walk them. I know a lot of people previously have said where I walk my dog, because we're creatures of habits and we love routine. So we always do the same thing over and over again. So let me know, guys, in the chat, what's one thing you would like to change as early as today for your dog in terms of routine? And while you do that, I'll move on to the next slide. So a lot of people yesterday said actually making sure that I feed them somewhere else. Because again, we just usually put the food in the bowl and put the bowl in the kitchen, and that's usually what happens. So just start to think what is it that you can start to change. All right, the fourth mistake that I see a lot of people make is relying solely on medication. So medication is not bad. It's a very helpful tool, but it is a tool. It's just fixing the symptoms. We're just putting a band-aid on the issue. If we don't have to actually if we don't have to actually, if we don't do training and we don't pair it up with training, then we're just simply putting a band-aid on the issue, and we're not actually working on the core issue, which is, as I mentioned, confidence and resilience. So it's very important that if your dog is on medication, you have a plan in place to actually help them. So medication really helps dogs if there's a lot of noise in their head. It helps reduce that noise so that your training can become effective. But if it's used on its own, it's short, it's temporary, and it's not actually fixing your issue. The long-term solution to this is using confidence building exercises and resilience building exercises for your dog. So out of all the experience that I've gotten with nervous dogs and everything, all the nervous dogs that I have seen, I haven't felt the need to tell clients to put their dog on medication, except for 2 clients. So out of all the clients that I have helped, I have only said to 2 clients, look, I think your dog should go on medication. The first one is Rocco, and the second one is Tank. Now, Tank on the right ended up going back on medication because the problem is he was already on medication when he was rescued, and his new owners weaned him off before seeking training. So we made a lot of progress with training and with confidence building, but we needed to get a little bit more out of him. So we decided to put him on medication again and continue on with the training. And we've seen great results with that. The middle dog, Rocco, the mom actually said to me, she said, Nez, he's too young. He's 6 months old. I don't want to put him on meds just yet. I want to try everything it takes to be able to help him out. And Rocco was a dog that was not properly socialized as a young puppy. They live on a busy main street, main road, and they could not get him out of the house. They could not get him past the elevator. He would put the brakes on and he would be terrified. His tail was tucked in. He looked terrible. And so with the confidence building exercises, now he's able to go on walks. He's able to walk on that main street, chill at coffee shops. He's a totally different dog, guys. He's almost 2 years old now, and he has been able to achieve all of this without needing medication, simply using simple strategies, confidence building exercises, and training. Now, the fifth mistake is that you're potentially using generic or complicated training methods. For example, you notice your dog actually pulls on the lead. So we try to work on loose lead walking, where the issue is not loose lead walking. The issue that's just a symptom. The issue is our dog is actually nervous, lacks confidence, and is all frantic when out and about because they can't relax. Their state of mind is not there. The other thing is desensitization and counter conditioning, guys. Desensitization is slowly exposing your dog to whatever they're scared of gradually, right? Making the intensity more and more each time. Counter conditioning is changing their emotional response to the trigger, and that's usually using food. But the problem is, if our dog's not even taking food outside because they're too nervous, then there's nothing we can do about it. So the confidence building is really important. Confidence building and resilience building, these are the foundations. This should happen before any kind of training you do with your dog, before anything else you try with your dog, because this is the foundation, and this is what's going to give you a long-lasting result. And this is what's going to help your dog push a little bit, get to the other side, so that everything else that you try and do with them is actually going to start to work and fall into place. So before I go into recap, I just check the chat. I try to vary up all parts of our day, change walks. Yeah, that's amazing. Feeding locations. That's great. Kimberly, I think you're the first person who said that, because in all the live webinars that I have done, people were telling me that they had no idea that they had to change the dog's routine. They were told that they should actually stick to a routine. So it's amazing that you already do that. Anna says the time between walks, I work from home, and sometimes the times drastically change. I need to stick to the timings to reduce his stress. No, that's the opposite, Anna. I think you should continue to mix it up, and maybe make sure that you're not mixing up the timing too much. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a great thing. But I think you can use that along with confidence building and resilience building exercises, so that the fact that you're changing times around isn't really affecting your dog anymore, because things should be the same no matter what time you take them out, no matter what time you feed them. So start to change things up. Yeah, no worries, Anna, at all. All right, cool. So as a recap, we talked about, now you know the importance of why it's important to understand why our dog is actually nervous. And the main thing to understand from this webinar, there's one thing you can take away, is that most nervous dogs lack confidence. So it's very important that we really work hard on confidence building and resilience building. Now, there are ways to build your dog's confidence and resilience. Oh, before that, is there anything that I have mentioned so far that you were like, I actually had no idea? Maybe it could be the fact that you had no idea that confidence was such a big thing, and it's actually something you need to work on. Let me know in the chat. What was your aha moment? And then we'll move on next as well. I think the chat is lagging a little bit. I'm usually getting your messages a little bit later, but I'll just keep moving on just to make this. Working on his resilience. Yep, that's it. That's one of the and I have I have seen it be such a surprise for people, and it was for me when I figured it out, and I was like, hang on, there's an issue there, and that's the issue. And when I started to implement this type of training and these exercises to start to help dogs, nervous dogs, with their confidence and their resilience, that's when I started to see a huge shift, a huge transformation in their behavior and in their ability to actually get even better with the rest of the training. So there are easy ways to build your dog's confidence and resilience that you can do at home, you can do every day. And before I share that, I want to know if you're excited, if you're ready to transform your dog's life. If you are, type transform in the chat. And I'm going to share with you a few things next. Now, guys, yeah, awesome. Great. So, what I'm sharing next is not for you if you're happy with how things are going. Maybe your dog's on medication, you don't want to feel like you want to change much, and you're not really interested in doing the work or the training with your dog. But this course is for you. Sorry, what I'm about to share next is for you if you actually want to see the transformation, you want to have long lasting effects, and you want to see results with your dogs. So, what I'm about to share now is my 5 weeks to a more confident dog course. So, this is a done for you course, guys. I hate to have to sit there and think, what do I need to do? What are the exercises that I need to do on what day? This is a course that is made for you. The reason why it's 5 weeks long is not that you're going to sit there on your laptops every day listening to a video. It's just one task a week. You're going to dedicate 15 minutes a day for 5 weeks, and you're going to start to see transformations. There's going to be one exercise a week, and you're going to start to level it up. And I'm going to show you exactly how to level up these exercises. Now, the reason why I developed this course is to give you specific exercises to do and a clear plan of action so that you can become confident in your ability to help your nervous dog and see the transformation and changes that you have been seeking. So, guys, it's really important for me that you know exactly what you need to do and you're not sitting there and guessing. That's why I really, really love this course. So, you've got 10 sessions or 10 lessons. The first three are things that we already discussed, plus a little bit more information, and we go a little bit more into detail. And then you've got week by week videos to watch, and then I give you real examples, and you'll see me work with real dogs, with some clients, and you'll get to see how these exercises actually apply to your day-to-day life and apply with your training. Now, in week one, we're going to straight away start by teaching our dog how to troubleshoot, so how to overcome challenges, how to think for themselves. This is going to be great. They're going to have a different relationship with food as well. So from week one, you're going to start to see a shift in your dog. You're going to be really surprised with your dog's ability to actually become more resilient and actually, overcome very, very small challenges. We do want to start small, obviously. In week two, we're going to work on our dog's ability to take food outside. So, guys, if you have a dog that doesn't take food outside because they're nervous, this is amazing. This week is really, really good for you. And it's going to show them a different relationship with food as well. So, by the end of that week as well, once you get to start to get your dog to eat outside a little bit more, they're going to develop a different relationship with the outside world. They're going to become way calmer, and you're going to see a big transformation by end of week two already. In week three, we're going to work on our dog's ability to chill outside, because how good would it be that you have your dog next to you, you're sitting at a bench, you're chilling by the beach, and your dog's just lying there with you, right? If that's the goal, then we need to start somewhere. And week three is all about this, is all about exposure, is all about teaching our dog, hey, you can chill outside. You don't have to be scanning the environment. It's totally fine. So that's what we're going to do in week three. In week four, we're going to start to push them through challenges. And week four is one of my favorite. It's a really, really fun week because we're going to use play to grow your relationship. And we're going to use what I call parkour to help our dog push through challenges and, again, build that resilience. So in that week, in week four, you're going to start to see a huge shift in their resilience and in their confidence as well. And by week five, you would have all the knowledge so that you can consolidate everything that you've learned, all the exercises that have been done week by week, and you're going to lead your own sessions. You're going to start to understand, okay, today my dog needs a little bit more rest, so I'm going to do exercises from week one. Tomorrow, I'm going to take my dog out and we're going to do chilling. So it's up to you to start to manage your schedules and manage your training sessions. Again, guys, it doesn't have to be long. You just need 15-20 minutes a day to achieve all of this in 5 weeks. And by week 5, this is where you're going to see a big transformation, not only with your dog, but also with yourself and with your ability to understand your dog properly. Now, with this course, you get a workbook because, as I said, it's all done for you. So you just open up the video of week 1, you open up the workbook, and every day you can log in your progress, because it's very important that you actually track your progress so that you can see where you were and where you are by the end of the course. And by the end of each week, there's a little weekly recap as well. That's really great. That's something that really helped me when I was struggling with my own dog. Like writing things down and diary journaling really helped me understand, okay, this is where my dog's at. Today, my dog found the exercises a little bit too difficult. We're going to tone it down, take a break, and do it a little bit easier tomorrow. So using the workbook is going to be very beneficial for you guys. Then you also get weekly emails just to remind you of what the task is for the week. And I also share a few FAQs in those emails. And I also share success stories, which is great to look at because I feel like it's great inspiration as well. You will see real life cases as well, and me working with dogs in the courses and in the video. And you're going to get a bonus PDF. Guys, this PDF is going to be really helpful because it's going to show you how you can apply the exercises, the confidence building exercises that we talked about during the 5 weeks, to your day-to-day life, and to apply it to things that your dog is struggle with. So you'll know exactly, okay, well, if my dog struggles with noises, I can use the exercises of week 1, and that's going to help my dog with noise sensitivity, for example. So it's going to be really helpful, guys. It's very important for you to understand how you can apply these in real life, not just teaching, not just learning them and practicing them, but also applying them. Now, I want you to Rocco couldn't get out of the house. That's just him chilling at a coffee shop near a main road where that was not going to be possible. He's even splooting. Like, he's so relaxed that he's like, whatever. I really love that video. I really love that transformation. A few people, like, I already had so many students take the course, and I've just been able to put a few testimonials here for you. But what most people have found is that the course is flexible, catered to dogs to all levels, and I support them through the challenges and finding alternatives if something isn't really working. Completing the course has given Ching a good foundation on what she can continue to work on. So again, that's the goal of the course, is that you're not just taking whatever you're learning, but you're also applying it, and you know exactly, you feel confident to know how you can use it to help your nervous dog. So I just want to share one last review with you guys. I just want to say thank you to Nez. The course was very beneficial for us. While Luna can come across as a confident dog, she is in fact very sensitive. Any different behavior, noise would make her feel unsure and concerned. Having to expose her to different environments, noises, and challenges definitely helped us to improve her confidence and resilience. We will definitely continue to incorporate these exercises into her routine, and this is an ongoing process. The course was very easy to follow, simple language, and it requires only a few minutes per day. And that's exactly why I developed this course, guys, because I know we don't have a lot of time during our day, and I want to make sure that you're making the best of it, that you know exactly what you're working on every day with your dog in order to start to see the transformation. So guys, what's the investment for this course? So this course is usually $250 USD, but because you've joined me live today, I'm actually discounting this course to $94.99. This is like $19 a week for 5 weeks. That's like a few coffees a week. So I think it's really affordable. And I think with this course, with the transformation that you see, it's totally priceless. So imagine if in 5 weeks from now, you can sit down at a cafe, you can sit down at the beach, you can relax with your dog at a park. Your dog's no longer scanning the environment. They're actually looking at you for information. That would be really, really good. You'll feel really happy and proud that you were able to help your dog and get them through to the other side and better their quality of life, guys. That could be you in 5 weeks. And just like so many of my students have already been able to achieve these dreams with the help of this course, that could be you in 5 weeks. So I would really love for you to join me. I would like to invite you to join this course, especially that it's at a very good offer at the moment. But the doors are closing in 7 days, so the link is only going to be available for the next 7 days, guys. So I'm going to share that link with you right now. You should see it now. But basically, what's really important is that you understand that this course is going to take you from all the efforts that you've put in so far into your training, and be able to actually really apply everything from today and start to see the changes that you need. Again, if you want a better quality of life for both of you, if you want a generally calmer dog inside and outside the house, if you want a more confident dog and a resilient dog, if you want a dog that becomes curious instead of afraid and fearful, if you want a dog that you can chill with at a park, the beach, the cafe, a dog that will trust you and look at you for help, and if you want to become more confident with your ability to handle your dog, then this course is for you guys. Again, we have seen so many great transformations with all the students, and it's something that I continue to apply even with my live clients. So I really encourage you to participate in this course and to join this course for the $94.99 today. You can start the moment you log in, you get direct access to the course. You can already start to apply the exercises from week 1. Now I'm going to open up a few questions, Q&As, if you have any. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and what I'm also probably going to do is just pop the link to directly the checkout of the course in the chat, so that you can avoid all the scrolling. You can go straight in, purchase the course with that offer, and you can start to implement anything that you learn the moment we finish this webinar. Any questions? Oh, Anna, you had something. I have family coming in 5 weeks, so perfect timing. Great. Hope to see him less scared and barking to dogs so much. Yeah, I truly believe that if you actually continue on with the course and you actually stick to the course and the 5-week schedule, you're going to see massive changes. Guys, if you can't complete this course in 5 weeks, don't worry. That's not the 5-week timeline, is just to make sure that you have a task every day and everything is spread out, and we start to level up and make things a little bit difficult from day 1 to day 7 for our dog. If you find that you have to spend a little bit more time with your dog because your dog's struggling with a certain exercise and you need more than 1 week per exercise, definitely do that. This is a self-paced course. The 5-week is just a guide. So don't be afraid if you can't finish it in 5 weeks. You're not going to get locked out of the course. It's still going to be there. Once you buy it and you log in, it's going to be there. It stays there. It's not going to go away. So don't worry if you can't finish it in 5 weeks. Anyone else has any questions? I think, who was it? Was it Domenica? I think you said you had 2 dogs. So is it, do they both struggle with different things, or is it the same thing? And please, anyone else, type in your questions. We did good. We're at 45 minutes, which is really, really good. And I just want to make sure that you take full advantage of this live so that you can ask your questions and so you can get answers live as well. So I'm going to wait a few minutes for you to type in your answers, your questions, sorry. Do you recommend dog parks or not really? My dog loves going to the dog park, but is barking constantly once we get there. Not sure if that socialization is good. Short answer, Anna, no, I do not recommend dog parks. I think that for some dogs are fine. Some dogs can go to dog parks and be completely chill around other dogs. A lot of the times when we are seeing dog reactivity, it's because they have either been over socialized or because they're just so used to interacting with dogs and being amongst dogs. So what I really love to teach dogs usually is you can see a dog and we can be around dogs and chill. Because if you have a dog that goes to the dog park, loses it, barks all the time, then if you're trying to sit at a cafe and a dog walks past, forget it. If you're trying to sit at a cafe and there's another dog at the table next to you, forget it. It's going to be very, very difficult for you to actually have a good time because your dog is not used to chilling around other dogs. So I am more than happy if you have a dog that you, a neighbor's dog or a family's dog that your dog really knows, you know, they play really well together. You can put them in an environment where you can tell them, now it's up to you to play. You can play, go ahead. And then outside of that, I really prefer if my dogs actually learns how to be calm around other dogs. So in week 3, there's a lot of exposure work, and that's one of them. It's just teaching your dog to be chill in environments, and you can apply that to be chill, to in front of the dog park, for example, step away and then apply these exercises outside the dog park so that your dog learns, okay, I can do something else when I see a dog. I don't have to be all crazy all the time. It could just be a matter of I can just chill with you and I can just happily watch dogs without being involved. For me, that's a dog that you can start to take everywhere. When your dog starts to have the ability to relax, then that's actually really, really good. That's when you can start to see changes. Domenica, different. One barks at everything and the other is a little aggressive. Could be gentle, but when bothered while relaxing, she attacks. Yeah, fair enough. So that sounds like it's a management thing a lot of the times, but not to like, of course you can work on confidence for both of them. You can apply these techniques for both of them. Bothered while relaxing, yeah, a lot of dogs hate to be bothered as they are relaxing. So I would say this is more of a management thing, especially if she's asleep, fast asleep, and she just gets startled. So I want to make sure that you understand that there's a management piece to it, but definitely the one that barks at everything potentially gets startled. Is it normal she attacks me as well? I am the one feeding her. Yeah, unfortunately, we love to think that dogs give us unconditional love and everything, but the reality of it is they are dogs at the end of the day, and if they feel threatened from a situation, then this is going to be the case. Now, obviously, there's a degree to it. So if you feel like your dog is actually, like he can't even step next to her or next to him, I don't know if it's a female or a male, but if you can't step next to your dog and walk past without being attacked because your dog's sleeping, then that's a little bit more intense, and I would want to look into that a little bit further. But yeah, the fact that you feed her and you have the closest bond with her means absolutely nothing. I'm sorry, I'm sorry to say that. It's totally normal. She's a dog, and if they feel uncomfortable and threatened that someone's in their space while they're sleeping, then that's what they're going to do. But again, what's the severity of it? Right? If she's being bothered and like actually being nudged while sleeping, then I understand that that's annoying. I would say, like, don't do that, leave her alone. But if you're just simply can't even walk past her, then there needs to be work done for sure. Kimberly, my dog is nervous around children during socialization. He completely ignored kids, but now he is afraid of them. Very common. I did not allow children to interact with him because he was a big nipper when he was young. Kettle dog, border collie, of course. He has never had a bad encounter with a child or any startling of any kind around children. What would you recommend? Definitely confidence around children. So I would definitely take him near a children's playground and do the exercise in week 1. That's going to be really, really good because that works for noise sensitivity, and it works if your dog's actually uncomfortable about situations and about things around him. We teach our dogs during week 1 that you can troubleshoot, you can just be busy with something, and you don't have to feel so threatened and alert. And then I would move on to the exercise that's covered in week 3, which is just the chilling, and I would start to do that gradually as well, moving closer and closer and closer to children. Of course, very important to advocate for your dog's space, and it seems like you have been doing that so far, which is really good. But yeah, with cattle dogs and border collies, it's usually as well the movement, the franticness, and the unpredictability. They can't tell what this child is going to do next, so they feel a little bit defensive. That's a very, very common one. So definitely confidence building and resilience building around kids and around places where there are kids, especially at kids playgrounds. That's what I would do with your dog. Any other questions? Awesome. No worries at all, Kimberly. Again, guys, this link is going to expire in 7 days, and the offer is only available for a short period of time. So make sure you make the most out of it. And I would love to help you. I would love to see you on the other side. And hopefully you get to enjoy the course just like so many other students have. I will leave you to it, guys. We've made it under an hour. Have a lovely afternoon or day wherever you are. And hopefully I get to see you again soon. See you. Bye. Thanks, Kimberly. Bye.